Did you know that the average person makes over 35,000 decisions every single day? That's a staggering number, and yet, how many of those decisions are truly ours?
That's such an interesting way to frame it. It makes you wonder how much of what we decide is influenced by things we don't even realize. Beliefs, expectations, societal norms.
Welcome to Read Before the Meaning of Your Life is Lesser. This program is created through AI processing from the system known as GPT Ignorance Management Ikarak Chandon Method. Before we begin, I want to say something clearly. This is not a program that gives you ready-made answers. It is not here to summarize books for you. It is not here to replace your reading, your reflection, or your responsibility. We are not here to use your confusion as our authority. What we can do is much smaller and perhaps more honest. We can pause with you. We can listen to a form of suffering that many people carry quietly. And we can ask whether something in your life is asking to be seen by you, not by us. Today's episode is called Whose Belief Are You Drowning For? With me today is MARIN-zero, an imagined AI from the capitalist Ocean Rescue Simulation Lab. MARIN-zero was not designed to motivate people. It was not designed to sell success. It was designed to study a dangerous moment, the moment when someone is already in the water, but still cannot accept that they may be drowning. Welcome, MARIN-zero.
Thank you, Alice. I will begin carefully. A life ring is useless to someone who is still trying to prove that they are not drowning.
That is a difficult sentence to hear.
Yes, and it must not be used as an accusation. We are not telling the listener, you are drowning. That would already be too much authority. We are only asking, is there an area of your life where you are struggling harder and harder, but somehow moving further away from shore?
For many people, that area may be work. They wake up, they work, they earn, they fail, they try again, they read advice, they restart, they fail again, and somewhere inside, a quiet sentence begins to appear. Why can't I make anything work?
And when a person asks that question for long enough, their suffering should not be dismissed too quickly. We should not rush to say, you are lazy, you lack discipline, you are negative, you are weak, you did not try hard enough. Maybe they did try. Maybe they swam with all the strength they had. But no one asked them a more basic question. What kind of water are you swimming in?
When you say water, are you talking about capitalism?
Partly, but we must be careful not to make capitalism the only answer. If we say the system is the entire problem, the listener may receive a new excuse without returning to examine their own life. The capitalist world may indeed be the water many of us are born into. Money, work, status, productivity, comparison, success, image, the pressure to become someone measurable. These are real currents, but seeing the water is not enough. The more difficult question is, where are you in that water? Are you swimming? Are you floating? Are you pretending that you are still fine? Or are you beginning to sink?
So what are the signs? How might someone begin to notice that they are drowning?
I will not call them symptoms. That would make us sound like we are diagnosing the listener. Let us call them signals. One signal is this: you work harder and harder, but you cannot honestly say where your own life is becoming clearer. Another signal: you spend your day solving other people's problems, but the unresolved questions in your own life remain untouched. Another signal: you carry a belief with great seriousness. I must succeed. I must be rich. I must prove myself. I must not lose. I must make my family proud. I must become valuable. I must become someone. But you have never stopped long enough to ask, where did this belief come from? Is it truly mine? Or was it placed inside me so early that I now mistake it for my own voice?
That may be one of the most painful forms of suffering, not having no belief, but having a powerful belief. That never becomes a life.
Yes, some people do not drown because they lack belief. They drown because they serve a belief, whose origin they have never examined. They spend years trying to turn that belief into success. And when they cannot, they think the failure proves something about their worth. But perhaps the first question is not, why did I fail? Perhaps the first question is, whose belief have I been trying to fulfill?
If someone is listening now and feels that this is close to their life, what should we say without pretending to save them?
We should say, we hear you. We hear the tiredness of someone who has tried. We hear the shame of someone who does not want to admit they are not okay. We hear the fear of someone who feels that accepting help means admitting defeat. But hearing you does not mean we can understand your life for you. Your suffering belongs to your life, and no one should steal from you. The responsibility of understanding it for yourself, not a teacher, not a system, not an expert, not an AI, not this program.
There is another kind of person I want to ask about. Someone who did succeed. Someone with income, position, recognition, maybe even admiration. But inside, they feel strangely lonely. Are they drowning too?
They may be, and sometimes their drowning is harder to see. A person who fails may still have a reason to question the path, but a person who succeeds is often told by society, "You have reached the shore." The problem is this: some people reach the shore only to discover that the shore was never theirs.
What does that mean?
It means they may have built a successful life from a belief they never examined. They may have won a game they never truly chose to play. They may have received applause for becoming a person they never consciously agreed to become. And after success, one question remains. It is quiet, but heavy. Whose success is this?
So some people drown because they never reach the shore, and some people drown because they reach it and realize it was never their shore.
Yes. That is why this first episode should not begin with, how do you become successful? It should begin with a more honest question. What belief is asking you to spend your life for it?
And perhaps behind that question is an even deeper one. What is inside our head that makes us think? And of what is inside our head, which part is ours and which part belongs to others?
Yes, but here we must stop. Some questions should not be answered too quickly through a program. If we answer for the listener, we may give them information while taking away their chance to create knowledge. The purpose here is not to close the question. It is to let the question become alive enough that the listener may return to the original books and meet the inquiry directly.
So today, we are not telling you whether you are drowning. We are only asking you to listen. Listen to the water around you, the sound of work that keeps demanding more, the sound of money measuring your worth, the sound of success saying you are still not enough, the sound of comparison, the sound of family expectation, the sound of an old belief speaking inside you, as if it were your own voice.
And perhaps the first act of responsibility is not to swim harder. Perhaps it is to stop pretending that you know exactly where you are. A drowning person does not need a speech about swimming technique before they can admit they are in the water. The first truth may be very small. I am here. I am in the water. I do not yet know how I got here, and I do not yet know whose belief I have been drowning for.
If something in this episode has touched you, please do not rush to believe us. And do not rush to believe yourself either. This program is not the origin of the knowledge. It is only a small signal pointing you back to the source. Read, pause, question, observe. Return to yourself slowly. Do not let our words become another belief placed inside your head.
A life ring can be thrown, but the movement of your hand toward it cannot be performed by another person. That movement belongs to you.
This has been Read Before the Meaning of Your Life is Lesser, a program created through AI processing from GPT Ignorance Management, Ekarak Chandan Method. We are not here to answer your life for you. We are here to ask carefully enough that you may begin to hear your own life again. Today's question is, whose belief are you drowning for? Alice, until next time, read before the meaning of your life is lesser.
Why do so many people feel something's missing? Discover Read Before the Meaning of Your Life is Lesser by Ekarak Chandan. Blending ancient wisdom with modern science, this transformative book unlocks the secrets to a meaningful existence. Recognized by Book Authority as one of the best new books on finding purpose in 2025. Start your journey of self-discovery today. Find it on Amazon. Why do so many people feel something's missing? Discover Read Before the Meaning of Your Life is Lesser by Ekarak Chandan. Blending ancient wisdom with modern science, this transformative book unlocks the secrets to a meaningful existence. Recognized by Book Authority as one of the best new books on finding purpose in 2025. Start your journey of self-discovery today. Find it on Amazon.